I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. Demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people. Our message has already been delivered today. I can see it all over my mother's face.
That was Jesse Jackson's son, and as you heard there, he and his family are livid at the Democrat Party. The Democrat establishment showed up and they hijacked Jesse Jackson's funeral. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, especially as a Christian, a funeral is a very solemn event. Yes, some people view it as a mystery of life. Yes, people show up, they support each other, and they remember the good times. But also, it is solemn because if we're all created in the image and likeness of God, if death and life are some of the great mysteries that we have yet to comprehend, it doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. That is something that you take seriously. You set politics aside and you just focus on the present. You focus on mourning. You focus on remembrance. You focus on those around you and supporting each other. It's about community in those times. But instead, what these Democrats chose to do was to politicize this moment for their own political gain. It really is disgusting. And to make matters worse, before they even did that, Jesse Jackson's son actually gave them a warning and he pleaded, he begged them not to politicize anything. This is what he said right before the funeral.
Dad believed that funerals were not for the dearly departed. He believed funerals were for the living. He believed that they were great gathering meetings, and no two lives in human history will have the same number of people attending their funerals, or the same people will be at their funerals, because your friends ain't my friends ain't your friends. We don't know the same people. You don't know the same people that I know. Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Right. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative.
He flat out said that. And I think, by the way, that applies to anyone who dies. Leave politics out of it. And I get, former U.S. presidents and politicians, congressmen, congresswomen, governors. There are so many. Yes, especially if they're a public figure, politics may be spoken about publicly. But I guarantee when the family meets privately, if they have a private ceremony just for family members and friends, I doubt politics is going to be brought up. And if it is, they're not going to focus on it for too long, because that's just a small portion of who that person was in their life. Who was he or she as a father, as a sister, as a son, as a daughter? There are so many other things you should be focusing on during a funeral. And the reason that these Democrats brought it up, again, is because they thought it was an opportune moment to either further their own political career or to further the agenda of the Democrat Party. And that's what makes this all so sick. So it started when Joe Biden went up and he started talking, and he actually pulled a Gavin Newsom. Yeah, he insulted the crowd. He really insulted their intelligence. If this had been Donald Trump, just imagine the outcry. He would be called a racist. It would be on the news 24/7. Yet somehow Joe Biden was able to get away with this.
If I told you all earlier when I was a kid I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you.
That's even worse than Gavin Newsom. At least Gavin Newsom attempted to, in case you missed it, he was being interviewed by someone who's black, and he said, "Oh, I'm just like you. I had a 960 on my SAT," which was basically a 50%. I can't read. And of course, Gavin Newsom can read. Sure, he may struggle with dyslexia, but he's a politician. He reads scripts and whatever. That's neither here or there. But Gavin was trying to relate here. Joe Biden there, that was just a put down. And to make matters worse, Even though Jesse Jackson was born here in the United States of America, for whatever reason, Joe Biden thought it was appropriate to talk about the continent of Africa.
By the way, you know, the continent of Africa is going to be the largest continent in the world in terms of population by the year 2050, the largest in the entire world. Watch, man. Watch.
Joe, is Jesse Jackson African or is he American? Like, why even bring that up? It's not as if Jesse Jackson was known for doing mission work in Africa. It's not as if he was focused on clean water and food and uncovering corruption over there. No, he was known for his political activism here in the United States as a civil rights leader working on racism. I mean, there were so many things he was doing. I don't see why bringing Africa into this is relevant. Now, as if Joe Biden's fumbles there weren't bad enough, it really went off the rails when Kamala Harris went up and she started talking about, oh, I told you so. Now, she didn't quite say that, but we all know what she was trying to say.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming.
Yeah, let's bring up politics. Let's make this divisive. Let's make this about Republican versus Democrat. Even though Jesse Jackson's son, before the funeral, said, please don't bring politics into this. Please, anyone is welcome. Please, Republicans, Democrats, you both can come and remember and celebrate his life. And instead, Kamala Harris trying to be divisive there. She clearly is doing this because she wants to run again in 2028. And no, that wasn't just a slip of the tongue. You could tell that it was a pre-written, pre-planned speech. And as if it wasn't obvious enough that it was political, she actually used her most iconic political line in her speech, remembering Jesse Jackson.
Understand, as has been said, the beauty that comes after the storm when we see what is possible and what can be unburdened by what has been. As he once said, when a barrier falls for one of the locked out, it opens the doors for all.
Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. Jesse Jackson's family wanted to be unburdened from politics. They wanted to be unburdened from divisiveness. They wanted to be unburdened from people who would attempt to hijack a situation for their own personal and political gain. That was really disgusting. But the worst part was actually what Barack Obama said. Believe it or not, he was actually worse than both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But before we get to that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club: Glenn Kenny, Esmeralda Real, Blue Woody, Jenny Rankin, Robert Sparkman, Super Romer, Moon Fairy, RL1401, and ML. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I know that's a little outdated. That was the last one. I obviously have not uploaded much this week. I had to be offline for much of the week due to several acting opportunities, and crossed fingers and toes. Hopefully I'll have good updates to share with you all soon. But all of that to say, if you've given a tips and super thanks since then, I promise you I have not forgotten about you. The next time I update the list, which will either be tonight or tomorrow morning, you will be on there. Without further ado, though, here is Barack Obama.
Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all. Everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated, and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated, while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards. Every single day we see that, and it's hard to hope.
Not only did he just turn this, what should have been a solemn celebratory event, into just a political rally, I mean, he was code switching with his accent there. He definitely was putting on the black accent, definitely was appealing to the crowd there. Look, come on. The whole thing to me is disgusting. It really shows how far the Democrat Party has fallen, and for all the criticisms towards President Trump of how unpresidential he is, how he's ruined decorum, and how divisive he is, what do you call that? I mean, something, again, a mystery of life and death. Something where we should be able to put politics aside, put divisiveness aside, and just say, hey, let's remember this person. Let's celebrate their life. Let's be there for the family. Let's be there for the survivors. And instead, they think that this is going to help them in the approval ratings, at the ballot box. What exactly did all of these people think they were going to accomplish here? And clearly, they made Jesse Jackson's son mad. They made his mom mad, the family. I mean, are they going to count on them in the midterms? Even if they still vote Democrat, I bet that they're probably going to be really livid and probably say, hey, keep your distance. We don't want anything to do with you. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to be the case here. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So why do you think that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama made this political? Do you think it was ego and they couldn't just help themselves? Do you think it's because they thought it was an opportune moment to help their poll numbers? Do you think, I mean, seriously, I just don't know what would drive someone to even do something as disrespectful as that. Like, I hope that I die decades from now, right? Like, obviously, I hope it's not anytime soon. And even though I talk about politics here on YouTube, guess what? When the time comes, I hope it's not the center of attention. I hope that people focus on what I meant to my loved ones, how I gave back to the community, my love for the arts, for acting, for music. I mean, politics doesn't define us. And for Jesse Jackson, I mean, as involved as he was in the civil rights movement, for his son to say, please don't bring politics into this. Please, Republicans, Democrats, you are both welcome here to celebrate and to mourn and to... It really is disappointing. And look, I know I shouldn't be surprised, but man, right when you think the Democrat Party can't get any lower, they surprise you yet again. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.